Okay, okay. I never really know how to start these. First of all, I'll continue practicing um my pronunciation of R's. I'm not sure if you guys can hear any difference between when I say them improperly and when I say them properly. But uh, if my R's sound better, that is because I'm saying them improperly. Because um, just I don't, the way I was taught to pronounce R's, I made it so like it kind of scrunched my face, and like now I've been told that like you shouldn't do that. So yeah. Anyway, look at this. Isn't that cool? It's recording, right? Yeah, it is. Um, I made a random walk in Desmos. Okay, I know. I was meant to be studying today, and I did get a lot of study done. I was only doing this during like rest periods during rest periods when I wasn't planning to study. But look, I'll leave this playing in the background. But there's so many cool things about this. First of all, do you see how the camera follows the red dot? That's actually insanely cool. I didn't know you could do this. But I'm here where you set the x-axis, like the bounds. You can set it to be a variable, and then you can change that variable to be whatever you want. And so accidentally, I made it so that you can set the scale here. Like you said, oh, you zoom out, you set it in, you zoom in. If you set it to zero, it just instantly zooms in and bugs out. But no, do you see how cool this is? And then this smoothness. Originally I just had it so the camera locked onto the point. However, this is what it looked like, and that obviously looks really jittery. Even when you like zoom out a bit, it's so jittery. And so using my insanely big brain on the very first try, uh, I created in this smoothness, and it nicely follows it. The way it does it, basically it takes the current distance of the camera and where the dot is, and then the camera moves to half that distance, and then half, and then half, and then half, and then half. So, um, if you guys know like the Achilles versus the turtle, how like you constantly move, Achilles only ever moves half the distance and thus never reaches it. It's kind of what's going on here. Um, the reason why you want it like this, it's that way, if you have like a big jump in the camera, say the scale, we go from 1 all the way up to 10, you can see it does it really fast at first and then slowly. And this is like kind of the type of movement you want. Because this red dot only ever moves one unit at a time. And so it's not moving all that fast. And so when you have half the distance of half a unit, the camera is quite smooth. But importantly, it doesn't move the full distance because if it did, say the red dot moves to the left, then to the right, the camera would like jump left, jump right. But with this, it would jump zero point 0.5 units to the right, and then zero point 0.2 units to the left. No, sorry, 0.2. Well, well, yeah, that's how it works. And so it just makes things so much smoother. Um, this smoothness is what was this smoothness variable? What did it do again? Here's the formula in case you guys want to know. So you have the x, right? This is the distance between the camera and so that's where the left side of the camera is. That's where the dot. Wait, no, sorry. I don't even know how my own maths works. That's where the dot is. Between something about this is where the camera is, the left side of the camera. Oh, right. It doesn't divide it in by half, it divides it by smooth. So because smooth is currently at 20, um, it moves 1/20th the distance between where the dot is and where the camera is. If we set smooth to be equal to 2, yeah, it's still kind of jittery when it only moves half a unit. So we set it to be higher. If you had the camera only move a constant distance, like zero point 0.1 units at a time, left or right, that would work, but also it's not dynamic. Say the dot started moving really fast to the left, like it only ever went left for a couple of things. The camera just wouldn't be able to keep up because it would only move constantly to the left at zero point 0.1 units. And so this dynamic thing allows like even with big jumps, the camera quickly can reach it. Yeah. Uh, one annoying thing is like as you can see, since the camera's a constant width, when you set it to be like this, it's just really distorted. But so we'll just keep it like this so it doesn't get that distorted. So and another annoying thing, you can't move the camera around. You need to like undo these variables in order to regain control of the camera. But little maths lesson, a lost bird will never find its way home, but a drunken man always will. This fact, for like the longest time, I did not understand whatsoever. And like, I just genuinely could not like fathom it. Oh, okay. I will attempt my best to explain this. The explanation is going to vary a lot depending on your math level, but say you were trapped on an infinite plane, right? You can on an like infinite grass field that extends forever in each direction. Say we were placed randomly somewhere, anywhere. It could be infinite, like, not infinitely far away because infinite's not a number, but like millions of millions, billions, like a Googleplex kilometers away from some location. And then you were asked to just keep walking randomly until you reach that location. Do you think after an infinite amount of time, ignoring like your mentality, ignoring like the fact that you need food, if you had an infinite amount of time, would you be able to reach that random point if you just like if you were just walking randomly? The answer is yes, which makes sense. It's literally infinity. You have infinite time. Eventually, you would like reach everywhere. Okay, so let me ask the exact same question, except this time you can fly. So instead of only being able to move forward, backwards, left, and right, you're now in 3 dimensions. You can go up and down as well. Now I place a random point somewhere in the air or on the ground, and now I ask you if you keep like flying randomly, going up, down, left, right, forwards, backwards, will you eventually reach that random point? Are you guaranteed to reach that random point? The answer is no. Um, the lost bird will never find its nest because it has one extra dimension. But the lost man, who only who like can't go up or down, he pretty much lives in 2 dimensions. He will eventually find his way home. And like I don't know, that's just so fascinating. Granted, it will take a insanely long amount of time. But here we have the dot. I said it'd be 100, 100. And its home is 00. Let's just like quickly create a point from that. Alright. Let's make it something more poetic than home. Uh, let's make it like his his self. Will he eventually find himself? And so this dot randomly walks up, down, left, or right by 1 unit. And if you run it, the blue is the most recent path, and then the black is just like everywhere he's been to. As you can see, it's like gonna take a while to reach here. And he could travel like all the way out here, but no matter what, he will eventually reach this dot, no matter how long it takes. I've ran many simulations. It's yet to reach back to yet to find himself again. But that's not the point. Given infinity, he will find it. Um, and then of course we have like this camera. That way I don't need to keep scrolling. Yeah. And so because my pictures I can imagine are ridiculously boring. A lot of videos from now on, I might just like play this. I'll have like a brief introduction, but hold wait, this is genuinely the okay. I know he's not that close to it. Every single other time I've done this, he's gone like up, right, up, and to the left. Like he's never gone down and to left. So like this is the closest been so far. Anyway, yeah, I might just like run this instead of having my pictures. One, because I don't have infinite pictures. Whereas this, I mean, I guess I can't run it infinitely long, but like if this simulation is completed, then I can just like do it again, but send me even further away. Yeah. Um, I'll just leave this running in the background. There's one issue though. Currently, I have it set so every 5 ticks. I think it's five, right? Oh, that's lagging my computer a lot. Yeah, every 5 ticks. However, because lists and Desmos can be a maximum of 10,000 items long, that means once you reach 50,000 ticks, the simulation will just stop. There's a hard limit. So that's my time limit for this reflection. Although we won't reach it though. I'll leave this running. And we hope that he eventually finds himself again. I guess I should be mentioning this is the very first time in a long time I'm recording this before 12 a.m. It's 11:30 at the moment, which is a huge milestone. Um, the only reason why this did happen is because I have an exam tomorrow, and so I need to actually sleep well tonight, unfortunately. So tomorrow you can probably expect me to. Okay, wait, hold on. There's so many things to mention. I got distracted by this Desmos thing. I was gonna need some water. First of all, tomorrow's my birthday. I'm finally turning 18. There's a bunch of things I could say, but like, I don't know. Not necessary. Tomorrow's my birthday, turning 18. Yippee. I might go drinking with friends. We'll see what happens. And I planned something for Friday because this week is has a lot of mid-semester exams. So like I can't exactly do anything during the week. I have to postpone the celebrations to the end. But also tomorrow, my two mid-semester tests I have are both tomorrow. Both on my birthday, which sucks. Um, the one test is the info test, which I hope uh, the info test, yes. No, the info test will be fine. It's really easy, and it's a pass fail, so you don't need to worry about marks. The thing I'm concerned about is the math test. Uh, there's not much else to say other than like there's really not much else I can do at the moment, but get a good sleep. I hope it goes well. This is the first test, first assignment in uni. I think I might not actually do the best in, which is refreshing. I don't think you guys understand how refreshing that is. All throughout high school, um, and up until now in university, it's just like been so boring. Like, there's been no incentive, no punishment, no motivation to keep up with the coursework, to like do anything really. Because it's just like been kind of too easy and there hasn't been many consequences. But like, if I do badly on this test, sure that will suck. But like, that's just gonna add so much fuel for my final test. Like, I'll actually experience the consequences of my actions and like, I will be far better prepared for the final exams. I guess, three things. One thing that went good today, studied pretty well, I guess. I know there's honestly not a whole lot I could study. The main issue with this exam is going to be speed in answering the questions, and it's not really possible to increase your speed that much in just a few days. One thing that could have gone better, um, I guess I could have done more practice problems. I should have like focused my study better on that because the first bit I was like kind of lost on what I was doing. But like at the moment, the most productive thing I could have done was practice problems rather than like endlessly reviewing content. The issue is like I couldn't find any practice problems really. Unlike in high school, it's much harder to get them in university. One thing I'm excited for tomorrow, it's my birthday. I think that's like quite obviously the thing I'm most excited. I'm turning 18, yeah. I will no longer be a minor. Anyway, that's all for today. I need to get to sleep soon. As for how the simulation is going, um, I'll just speed it up until we get to 50,000. Should not be running 5 times faster. It doesn't look 5 times. So probably just some hardware limitations on my computer. How are we going? Well, we at? What? Why are we going backwards? Like, what? Okay. I swear this dot is just actively avoiding his sense of self. Actively. Come on. This is good. I swear this dot is avoiding his home. Like, literally going the exact opposite direction. He faked us out and like this is actually kind of ridiculous. He went from here all the way up there. He went over 100 units up and to the right. Like, if you guys want to know some math, if you do a random walk, on average, you will walk like the maximum distance you will walk is square root of two, square root of the number of steps, sorry. Um, so far it's been like say 42,000, okay, 42,000 ticks, right? Actually, let me do the calculation in decimals so you guys can see. That's 84, 8,400 steps. But of course, there's one in the Y, one in the X. So in terms of the number of steps and the, oh, we reached, why did it stop? What? Well, we're not at 10. Oh, right, because I spent a lot. Okay, oh well. That's where we ended off today. Mm. He started off here. He faked us out by going down into the right. And then he just like went all the way back up. It's connected by this singular bridge. Um, up here. If you guys want to, wait, back to the calculation. So he took roughly 4,200 steps in the X and 4,200 steps in the Y.